What is going on, Brick fans? Today I've got a very special video for you all. This is going to be my thank you video for 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for all the support you guys have thrown my way, subscribing, liking, and commenting on the videos. I wouldn't be here now if it weren't for each and every one of you. So thank you for that. And of course, today we are going to be looking at the complete unique Pokémon Mega Construx line. This is going to be every single unique Pokemon that Mega Construx has released. I'm not going to go into duplicates or even older versions. All of these models are going to be the modified ones whenever it's applicable. And I'm only doing one Pokemon per model, so no faceplate changes or anything like that. So the first video that I did this kind of thing in was, I think, 2 years ago, and I categorized the Pokemon by year of release. This time around, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to be showing these guys off in their Pokédex order. So without further delay, let's go ahead and look at Pokédex entries 1 through 50. So here it is, guys. This is all of the Pokemon that Mega Construx has released between 1 and 50. We have a total of 29 Pokemon, so we're very close to completing the first 50 Pokemon in the Pokédex, which is pretty cool. Of course, as this video goes on, you'll see that Mega Construx kind of slows down in the later generations. So there's going to be quite a few blocks that are going to be either empty or having very few Pokemon. So we have the Bulbasaur line in the back, followed by the Charmeleon line. I put Golbat and Zubat back there so that they can lean against the wall. I didn't want to get into any standing positionings. But speaking of Golbat, I never did show you guys how I fixed him up. So I used, I believe, 2 Zubats, the original Zubat that came out, and also one of the newer Zubat versions to get this wing fix going. It looks a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie, but the original wings also looked awkward, so I'm not gonna make a big fuss over that. But I think this is a decent solution at the very least to what we were given. I wanted wings that would not flop down all the time, and this is what I've got. So I'm definitely very happy about that. Of course, next we have the Squirtle line and an incomplete Caterpie line, another incomplete line for Weedle. Of course, we've got over here Rattata and Ekans, as well as the Pikachu line, incomplete Sandshrew line. Of course, we also have Nidoran and Nidorino, still waiting on their evolutions. And then the most recent complete evolution line, the Vulpix line. Then we got the updated Pidgey, which is really nice. I like him a lot. Of course, Jigglypuff, Oddish. I'd really like them to finish off the Oddish line. Gloom was always one of my favorites. Then we have Clefairy over here. If anyone hasn't seen the back of Clefairy, I like this a lot. And we have Paris, and of course, we cannot forget the very exclusive, very rare Diglett. Now, unfortunately, Dig Trio is number 51, so I did not put him in this section, but he will be in next section, which is coming up right now. Okay, and so here is numbers 51 through 100, and in this section we have 19 Pokemon. Of course, we have some of our new additions over here, as well as a modified version of Doug Trio. Now, I haven't showed this off to you guys, so here is my modifications that I made. I got some platforming going on there, and then I used the base rocks that came in the actual Doug Trio set, and I used some other rock formations from the set that I got some of these platforms from as well to fill in those gaps in between the characters. And I really like it how it turned out. The only thing that I would like to add to it would be more of these light gray bricks, probably the small circular stud pieces in places like here so that it more accurately represents the character. But other than that, I really like how I changed up the set from what it originally was, and I'm really happy with the outcome. And of course we have Onyx here, which is a set that is very rare and very exclusive at this point. I'd say his look holds up well. However, the mechanics of how he's put together does not hold up well. I would have liked to have his head down here more so that we could see it a little better. I can bring him up just a little to show you guys. But unfortunately, the way that he's weighted, the joint piece here cannot support the weight of his head, so he can't be in a kind of forward-looking position. He has to be in this curved position. In fact, you will be able to see here, these clips are meant to counteract that very thing, because if it wasn't there, he'd be leaning forward the whole time. So he is due a rework. I still like the way that he looks in this form, but especially with the tail, we've got some flimsy construction going on there. As I was setting him up, some of those pieces came off, and just in general, he has very limited motion. His motion is mostly in his tail. This middle section can't move. He really can't come off of the platform that he's on and be a standalone character, because you simply just can't position him in a way that won't look awkward. So of course we have also the exclusive, what was that, Comic-Con Gengar. This one was really cool. They did come out with another one, which is very fortunate, but we also have part of the Abra line here. Kadabra's looking a little bit outdated if you ask me, but there's quite a few of these Pokemon that I'd actually really like to have updates to. Bellsprout would be one of those. Geodude, definitely. A new Magnemite would be great, but some of the stars of the show are Growlithe and Shelder and Mankey. I really like how those came out. So let's go ahead and take a look at numbers 101 through 151. So here are 23 of the Pokemon from numbers 101 to 151. Now we have in the back here the really awesome Magikarp evolution set. That set is simply amazing. I love it. We have a less great Lapras rework right there, and a less great Dragonite rework. And of course we've got Snorlax, Scizor, and a Mr. Mime. Of course we have the evolutions here. We have an Electabuzz. Something that actually is really interesting and goes along the lines of the scaling for Pokemon Mega Construx is Electabuzz and Chansey. Both of these guys are supposed to be 3 foot 7 inches. As you can see, Chansey got the short end of the stick there, so that's really unfortunate. This is really more the size that Jigglypuff should be, very close to it, maybe just a little too big, but still better to be just a little big than really small. Moving on to some of the more rare additions, definitely the Mewtwo and Mew battle pack. That was really cool. Mewtwo has a pretty good body build, however his face is really strange, and I'd really like to see Mega Construx start coming out with the Master Ball for their Pokeball line and having mythic Pokemon like Mew and Celebi in those Master Balls. I think that would be really good. This Mew definitely needs a rework. We've got boxy feet and a boxy body. Really not great, but overall this is a pretty solid lineup right here, and that closes out Generation 1. Left out Porygon from that final 101 to 151 portion, so there he is. Another really exclusive, really rare Pokemon from Mega Construx. But moving right along, our highlights of course are Tyranitar and the evolutions from this generation. Other than that, we've got some nice selection of baby Pokemon over here. We got Pichu, Elekid, and Igglybuff. But overall, I think Generation 2 is missing a lot of the key Pokemon, so definitely something I'd like to see going forward. I do like that Mega Construx makes an effort to come out with some of the more irrelevant Pokemon like Ladybug, Hoppip, Wooper, Spinarak, that kind of thing. But I think at the very least they should try to complete the evolution lines for the starting Pokemon of every generation. I think that's like really crucial. So with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to Generation 3. Okay guys, so we got a whopping 15 Pokemon from Generation 3. So really just a sad showing here. Yeah, this is just really pathetic. I don't even know what to really say about it other than that. But I will say the Pokemon we have here are pretty good. I would just definitely like to see a lot more variety from this this one. Seriously, what is Mega Construx doing? So let's go ahead and look at the next generation. All right, so we got a total of 17 Pokemon from Generation 4. This one is looking a lot better than the previous one, especially since we have 4 final evolutions here. Of course, the Shinx line is coming out really good. Hopefully they come out with the final evolve for that pretty soon. I really like this Combee. That's one of my favorite from this whole Mega Construx generation here. But my absolute favorite would have to be Rotom. I really like how they put this guy together. Unfortunately, he can't really stand on his own, but this is just some really great, unique pieces used for him, and that's really why I like this one so much. And of course, we have some great baby Pokemon in Munchlax, Happiny, and Mime Jr. A brief word on Weavile here. They are coming out with a updated version of Weavile, so if you missed it the first time around, there is a new version coming out, hopefully soon. I'll certainly get that when it comes out. So let's go ahead and take a look at Generation 5. Now, Generation 5 is looking awfully pathetic here. Of course, we only have Stage 1 Pokemon here, and of all the generations so far, this is the lowest that Mega Construx has come out with a whopping total of 8. But the one I am most interested in Mega Construx finishing, besides the starters, is the Litwick line. I've always liked the Litwick line. I used it in Gen 5, so I'd be really interested to see that completed. Other than that, this is pretty sad. I really wish there was more to it, but it is what it is. Let's go on to Generation 6. Alright, so Generation 6 is actually interesting because even though we have 2 final evolutions, we are tied with the previous generation at 8 Pokemon. Now, this is a great Greninja, and of course Sylveon is also a great build, and we also have the new Series 20 Pokeball starters right here, which is great. But what's going on with this line? How is it okay that we have 8 Pokemon in an entire generation? Let's go ahead and move on to Generation 7. Now, with Generation 7, this is a pretty decent lineup from what we've seen of the past 2 generations. We've got 17 Pokemon overall here. However, with that said, this is Mega Construx Ultimate Tease generation, where we have the mid-evolution for the starter Pokemon, but no final evolutions. And then we also have the Grubbin line almost complete as well. By the way, Charjabug I really like. I love that they've made this guy, but where's the final evolution? Stufful is also extremely rare from this line, so hopefully they come out with an update for him. But overall, I mean, it's like any other generation. I want to see them completing these evolutions rather than having them just sitting around incomplete. I'll also say the new Salandit looks really great. I don't have that one yet. If I see it in stores, I'll probably pick it up, but it is in a 4-pack, and I'm not too thrilled about that. But the Salandit looks good. So let's move on to Generation 8. Now, Gen 8 is coming in with a total of 16 Pokemon, but we've got some really good ones here. I know it might seem a little strange to have the Galarian variants over here, but since they came out in Generation 8, I consider them to be Generation 8 Pokemon rather than putting them in their appropriate generations. So that'd be Zigzagoon, Meowth, and Ponyta. But we've got some great Pokemon here with Corviknight and Sirfetch'd, and of all the variants, I think these 2 are definitely my favorite. I definitely consider different forms of Pokemon to be the same as different Pokemon, so that's why we have both forms of Morpeko here, as well as, of course, the Galarian variants. Does not want to stand up, but he is here as well. His head is accurately depicted as very large, so it just makes him fall forward. That's fine though. Overall, I like what we have started here in Gen 8, but I definitely like to see more. And let's go ahead and move on to Generation 9. And here we go with Gen 9. So far, the lowest amount of Pokemon that we've seen in this video. Single hand digits, y'all. And considering that Generation 9 came out November of 2022, that's over a year with only 3 Pokemon from that generation to speak of. That is super pathetic, and Mega Construx just needs to do better. Now, with that said, guys, that is all I've got for you all today. I'd love to see more Pokemon from Mega Construx. We do have a total of over 170 Pokemon that Mega Construx has come out with, so they have been doing a bit. I'm not going to give them too much credit there because I think we should have a lot more. But to put things into perspective, that is a little over 17% of the Pokédex completed. So they're doing okay, but definitely not the best. But guys, if you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel if you like Pokemon Mega Construx content. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who do you want to see Mega Construx make next? I will add that Series 19 is still not to be found yet, so could not add those Pokemon into this video. It would have just been the 3 Alolan variants, but unfortunately we don't have those yet. So guys, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate all of you guys, and once again, thank you for helping out the channel by commenting, and subscribing. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you all in the next video, but until then, take care.